This is what I used to eat in a day when I was over 100 pounds heavier than I am now. To start the day off, I went to my go-to, which was a triple sausage and egg McMuffin meal from McDonald's. I would also have a hash brown and a Tropicana. And then for lunch, what I'd do is I'd run to Tesco and I'd get a chicken club sandwich, some salt and vinegar McCoys, and a Relentless. And then I also get some snacks throughout the day as well. So what I'd get is a tube of Texas barbecue Pringles, along with some Haribo Fantastics. And yes, I ate the whole tube. And then when I started to get a little bit hungrier, I'd have a king size pot noodle, normally the Bombay Bad Boy one, and a slice of bread for me to dip in the pot noodle. At night, when it came to dinner, I would order a spicy cheesy chicken burger with a side of chips and hot wings. Looking back on it, I was never really that hungry. I was just very bored. This was the height of lockdown, there was nothing to do. But if you can guess, comment down below how many calories roughly you think I ate.
Here's an example of what I used to eat in a day when I used to weigh over 340 pounds. I used to work 16-hour shifts on the weekends as a nurse, and so most weekends I would get takeout for the entire day of eating. One of my favorite breakfasts to get was Starbucks. I used to love to get the bacon, cheddar, and egg smoked sandwich thing, a grande cookie crumble frappuccino, and I always had to top it off with a cake pop. So this meal alone was 1,140 calories. I would typically skip lunch, but I always had to have an energy drink midday, and for a while I was really into these Monster Pacific Punch energy drinks. They are 210 calories. For dinner, I would take a lunch break, and one of my favorite places to go for a while was Cane's. I used to get their 6-piece Caniac combo. I would replace the coleslaw with an extra piece of Texas toast, and I would get usually either a large Dr. Pepper or a large Coke to drink. Also, I don't like the cane sauce, so I would actually go to somewhere that has gravy. I usually would go to Dairy Queen and just ask for 2 cups of their gravy to dip the chicken strips in. This meal alone was around 2,090 calories, and then while I was at Dairy Queen, I of course had to get dessert. So one of my favorite desserts was a small cookie jar blizzard from Dairy Queen. These have 710 calories in them. That would bring this day's total to right around 3,940 calories. Now, obviously, I didn't eat like this every single day, but I would say most weekends I ate pretty much exactly like this for at least a couple of years, and that is what led me to get up to 343 pounds.
This is everything I used to eat in a day when I was struggling with my weight and my relationship with food versus what I eat now. I've lost over 25 pounds and maintained it for the past 7 years now and have an amazing relationship with food. So for breakfast, I always started off with something sugary like a Pop-Tart or a muffin. And of course, I had to pair it with a coffee. I usually went for a Frappuccino from Starbucks. This is only 2 items, a drink and 1 piece of food, but that added up to 800 calories easily. And lunchtime came around and I love Chick-fil-A, so I would get the #1 sandwich with fries and a lemonade. Once again, this doesn't seem like a huge meal, but this easily added up to being about 1,000 calories. So we're already at 800 calories and it's only lunchtime. I'm also a big snacker, so I would snack on trail mix throughout the day, which I thought was harmless, but 1 serving of trail mix can easily add up to being 600 to 700 calories. So at this point, we are already above 2,000 calories. So for dinner, I was way too lazy to cook, so I would almost always order takeout, and Chinese food was one of my favorites. Sometimes I would get beef and broccoli, sometimes I'd get sesame chicken, but once again, this meal easily adds up to being more than 1,000 calories. Now we are way above our maintenance calories for the day, but it doesn't stop there. I love a sweet treat, so I'd always end my night with some sort of dessert. My go-to was Oreos and milk. I loved mixing them together. It would be about an extra 400 calories. So I was basically eating over 3,000 calories and had no idea. So here are some of the changes I made to reduce my calories, but still eating things that I like. For breakfast, I'd start with a yogurt parfait or some sort of breakfast sandwich. For the yogurt parfait, I would use Greek yogurt, which is higher in protein, add some sort of protein granola and a fruit. Or if I was doing a breakfast sandwich, I would choose an English muffin because it's usually lower in calories, add some eggs, some cheese, and some vegetables. And both of these options were about 400 calories, which is half of what I was having before for breakfast. And I had way more energy after eating. For lunch, something I realized is I love sandwiches in all forms, whether it's a chicken sandwich, a turkey sandwich. So I would go to a place like Panera Bread in Jersey Mike's and order a half sandwich, either it's a turkey sandwich or the chicken sandwich, which is only about 400 calories. So now we're at 800 calories for the day versus 1800 with the previous example. I still love to snack, nothing's changed about that, but I really prioritize protein now. So either I'll have a protein shake for my first snack, about 20 to 30 grams of protein, or I'll have a protein bar, which also has about 20 to 30 grams of protein. Both these options come out to be about 200 calories compared to the 600 calories I was consuming from trail mix without a lot of nutrients to it. Then for dinner, I like to have something that contains a veggie, a protein, and a carb of some sort. So I like to do things like stir fries or a chicken and pasta dish because I love my pastas, I love my rice, and it allows me to still enjoy that while getting the right mix of nutrients. And usually at this point in the day, I'm at about 1500 to 1700 calories, so I have room for one extra thing, which is always gonna be dessert. For dessert, I like to have one classic size cookie about this big and one scoop of ice cream on top. This combination usually comes out to be about 300 calories, which takes me from eating over 3000 calories a day to about 2000 or less. I still get to have dessert, I still get to snack, I still get to eat out when I want to, but I have more awareness of my portions and more self-control when it comes to food. And over the years, I've helped hundreds of my clients achieve their weight loss goals while still enjoying all their favorite foods. So if you're hearing this and realizing you're probably over-consuming calories and want to make some adjustments so you can see sustainable weight loss results that stand the test of time, I would absolutely love to help you. You can learn all about our coaching program up at the link in my bio.
Before I lost 47 pounds, I thought that I had normal eating habits when in fact I had far from normal eating habits. So I'm gonna show you everything that I used to eat in a day when I was obese, and we're just gonna break it down, okay? So for breakfast, I was like an addict of McDonald's breakfast, okay? So I would almost always get like a large vanilla iced coffee, and those things slap, don't get me wrong, but those have so much calories in it, so much more than you would think. And then I would usually get a bacon, egg, and cheese like breakfast sandwich, but I'd take the bacon off because like I think bacon is gross. And then I would usually get 2 to 3 hash browns. And that was just like my breakfast. I would have like usually more snacks even before lunch. So for my snacks, I would go and tell you to vote. So if you're in the United States and you have not registered to vote or you have not cast your vote, please go do so now. You can find where you can vote by going to vote.org, and you can enter your state and you can find where your polling place is. Election day is literally on Tuesday. I know it came up so much faster than you would have thought, but please use your voice and vote. It is more important than ever to use your voice now. And just an FYI, these videos do literally the best on my page. So if you were to theoretically like fight with people in my comments and fight with people how you guys usually do on these videos and criticize the way that I eat and be like, oh my god, how did you not know that you were gaining weight? That would theoretically boost this video, which would cause more people to vote. So, you know, definitely don't do that. Okay, seriously, go vote now.
Không có đồ không, cho lên.
No, ma.
Cho Julian.
No, ma.
Mấy chút chưa? No.
Đừng coi nè.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I lost 150 pounds, and my go-to lunch where I lost weight was McDonald's. I would get a large Coke, a regular size Oreo McFlurry, a large fry, of course, and also a double quarter pounder with cheese. All of this just for my lunch totaled 2,020 calories, and I would have this on the daily. Now, I don't even get McDonald's anymore just because it doesn't really make me feel good, but when I do go, my go-to is Coke Zero, a medium fry. You have to get McDonald's fries when you go, and a grilled chicken ranch snack wrap. This only totals 600 calories, and I'm usually full and satisfied after this as well. What I used to eat in a day when I was 215 pounds, not understanding why I was gaining weight, versus what I ate in a day to lose 70 pounds and now currently maintain my weight around 145. Y'all are not ready for my old Chipotle order. We're starting off the morning strong in the Carl's Jr. drive-thru. I would get a medium order of the French toast sticks with a medium hash brown, syrup, and an orange juice. This breakfast alone was a whopping 980 calories. Arguably half the calories that I should be eating in a day. But we're just getting started, baby. We're heading to Chipotle for lunch, and let me be very clear about something. I ate Chipotle like crazy before I started my weight loss journey, and I ate Chipotle like crazy on my weight loss journey. It really just came down to what I was ordering, and I promise y'all are not ready for this. To start, I would order a bowl. I would get brown rice, black beans, sofritas because I was vegetarian at the time. Then I would get corn, sour cream, and cheese. Very normal order, nothing really crazy about that, and not super calorically dense. However, then we would start to lose the plot. I love the salad dressing from Chipotle, like to the point where I don't even like Chipotle unless I have the salad dressing. But that little bitch is 220 calories. And I would use about 200 calories worth of salad dressing on my bowl every single time. Then I would get a tortilla on the side, which is an additional 300 calories. I would eat the whole thing. And then I would also share a bag of chips with my girlfriend, who's now my wife. Ha! And I would wash it all down with a lemonade or a soda or something like that. For a whopping, y'all, 1,750 calories. 1,750 calories for lunch! That is how much I was supposed to be eating in a day, bro. But the day didn't end. Have to have a sweet treat. Hello? Have to have a sweet treat after my 1,700 calorie Chipotle. Dessert was normally like cookies, ice cream. It didn't matter. I was eating it. Let's just say 200 calories for dessert. Probably more, but let's just be generous with old coals, okay? Moving on to dinner, there was part of me that knew that my lunch was really big, probably because it left me feeling like I was going to die after eating it. So I would usually opt for like a lighter dinner at this point. Usually some sort of like pasta and broccoli situation that I would make at home. However, I never measured my pasta. It was just like, rah, in the pot. And if you've ever just like eyeballed pasta, what is it about us where we just always make more than we actually want? So I would end up basically just having a big plate of pasta and broccoli with some sort of like cheesy sauce. I said that this was probably around 600-ish calories. Definitely possible that it's more. Again, I'm just kind of throwing a number out there. And then for dessert, Oreos. I loved Oreos. Maybe about 300 calories worth, like 2-ish servings. And that brings my total to 3,880 calories for a day of eating. Now, let me touch on a couple things because y'all had a lot to say about my last video. Specifically, those of you who are like, wow, you fatty. I can't believe you had no idea that you were getting fat when you were eating like a fat bitch. First of all, blocked. Immediately blocked because clearly this video is not for you. Have y'all ever heard of denial? Because I was in denial and like, that's fine. It's okay. In college, I was a theater major and I was in musicals literally throughout my entire college career. So I was constantly dancing and singing and like moving my body all the time so I could eat fast food every single day and not gain weight. So forgive me for graduating college and just continuing to have the same diet that I had before and being a little surprised that I was gaining weight. And it just took me a while to understand these things, and that's okay. If you're watching this and you feel like, oh my God, I eat like this is literally me, it's okay. Like, it's okay, babe. Anyway, let's jump in and talk about what I ate on my 70-pound weight loss journey and how it differs from what I was eating before. I'm gonna have breakfast at home and I'm probably gonna opt for something like this. A huge way that I was able to have success on my 70-pound weight loss journey was by eating fast food dupes of my favorite things. This Dunkin' Wake Up Wrap recipe is a perfect example of that. This only has 325 calories and it's way higher protein than the French toast sticks and hash browns. You can find this in the breakfast fast food dupe part of my cookbook. I was a huge coffee drinker on my weight loss journey and I loved making coffee at home, so here's an example of a drink that I had all the time. I swear I figured out the hack to making creamy coffees for under 100 calories at home. So freaking good. This is also in the cookbook. If you upgrade to the bundle, you'll get all my coffee recipes. We're still gonna get Chipotle for lunch, but the order is gonna be a little different. My bowl is gonna be pretty similar, but instead of doing full scoops of rice and beans, I'm gonna ask for a half scoop of rice and a half scoop of beans. And then I'm gonna do chicken. Really, you can do any protein you want. It doesn't really matter. I'm still gonna get corn, but then I'm gonna ask for light sour cream and light cheese. And then because I wanna increase the volume of this meal, I'm gonna ask for just like extra lettuce. The bowl on its own now is about 475 calories. Like I said, I have to have my salad dressing. I will not give it up. But instead of using all of it, I'm just gonna do a little splash. I like to say it's about 80 calories worth of salad dressing. And I'm telling you, a little goes a long way. Then one of my favorite hacks is that you can actually order a kids chips at Chipotle. I think they literally cost $1 and they're only 140 calories. We're gonna go ahead and ditch the tortilla, y'all. I'm sorry, but I just don't need it. If you love having the tortillas with it, you can get some of those net zero tortillas, the little ones that are like 25 calories per, and you can use those instead. And then instead of getting a full sugar drink, I would just get a Diet Coke. This puts my lunch total at 695 calories as opposed to 1,750 calories. And the truth is, y'all, it still gives me the same amount of fulfillment and enjoyment. I'm still going out to eat, I'm still sitting down and enjoying the same tastes and flavors, but now not only am I working towards my goals, I'm also not leaving feeling like crap, which is kind of a common theme that I was experiencing when I was overeating all the time. And I'm not talking like mentally, like, oh my God, I feel so bad, I ate so much. No, that was not it for me. I literally physically felt like crap all the time. For dinner, we're gonna go ahead and have basically the same thing, like a cheesy broccoli type pasta, except now the difference is that I just know how much I'm having because I take an extra minute and I measure out a serving of pasta. I also wanna make sure that I'm getting protein in my meals because protein is gonna keep me fuller for longer. So here's an example of something that I would make. This is kind of a go-to dinner for me. This is 610 calories and has more protein than probably what I was eating before. Also an example of what I have in my cookbook. For dessert, I like to just keep my dessert under 200 calories, so maybe I'll I'll just say, let's have some Oreos again. And that would bring my total for the day to 1,870 calories. Remember, the first one was 3,880. This one is 1,870. Now let's answer some of the questions that you guys were asking in the first video that I did like this. One is, how the hell do you afford this, girl? Like, this seems expensive. I'm gonna be straight up with you guys. Honestly, I've just been a hustler my whole life, okay? I've been financially independent from my parents since I was 18, by choice, because I'm stubborn. In college, I worked 3 jobs at a time. I've been working since I was 15 and saving money. I genuinely have just always worked really hard, and I like spending money on food. I don't get my hair dyed. I don't buy fancy clothes or shoes. I spend money on rent and food. The second thing I want to address is that in no way, shape, or form am I claiming that eating like this is healthy. I kind of hate the word healthy because everybody has a very different perspective on it. I used the example yesterday where one person who's eating animal-based and one person who's eating raw vegan, both of these people think that they are eating healthy and they could not be any further apart as far as what they're eating. I believe that there are foods that are more nutrient dense than other foods, and that there are foods that are maybe better for your mental health than they are for your physical health, like a donut. But the word healthy is kind of relative. And I know that a lot of you guys were frustrated because you were seeing what I used to eat in a day or what I even eat in a day now to lose weight. And you were saying, well, I eat way healthier than this and I'm still fat. I don't understand. And what I'm trying to articulate to you guys is that it really doesn't matter if the food is healthy or not. If you are not eating in a caloric deficit, you are not going to lose weight. If I'm eating fast food every single day and you are eating healthy, nutrient-dense food every single day, and I'm in a deficit and you are not, sure, you might be fueling your body a little bit better than I am, but if you're eating over the amount of calories that your body's naturally burning in a day, you are going to be gaining weight and I'm going to be losing weight despite the food that we're eating. And let me be really clear about this as well. Your calorie deficit is specific to you. You can't just pick a random deficit number that you see online and start doing that. You have to calculate it for yourself using a TDEE calculator. You have to fill this out honestly and truthfully, and then you need to pick the mild weight loss option. Do not do rapid weight loss. It's stupid and it's useless. And lastly, I'm not going to answer how tall I am because I don't want you to compare your body to mine. There's literally no sense in doing that. We are 2 different people who carry our weight very differently, and it doesn't matter what I look like or how tall I am. I'm making these videos for people who want to lose weight sustainably. I don't want people to be afraid of calories. I just want them to know that if they understand how to use them as a tool, that they can be helpful for weight loss. My goal always is to create a safe space. If what I'm saying is interesting to you and you need a little bit of a jump start on your journey, I made this. Check it out. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Coles and I help normal people lose weight in a normal way without being restrictive and while still eating all the foods you love.
I started to become obese my senior year of college, so I'm going to show you everything that I used to eat in a day on the days that I would go out to like the bars and stuff my senior year. And I couldn't figure out why I was gaining weight so rapidly, so we're going to go over this together. So for breakfast, I would go to some coffee shop. It would either be Dunkin' or the coffee shop that I worked at when I was in school. But I would always get like the largest caramel latte with almond milk, and I'd make sure that it's sweet, extra caramel, all of that bullshit. And for my food, I would usually have like an egg and cheese croissant. Like it wouldn't be on the bagel, but it'd be like on like a little flaky croissant. Those are so good. And I wouldn't get bacon on it because I don't like bacon. And then usually I would also get a donut as well or munchkins. And then if I was at work, I would get like a pumpkin toast or like a different like bakery item. And then for lunch, so usually what I would do when I was going out is I would try to like only have my breakfast and then I wouldn't eat until like closer to the pregame. So this was like late lunch, early dinner. I would go to Chick-fil-A and I would get either a chicken sandwich or chicken nuggets, but most of the time it was a chicken sandwich, and I would get Polynesian sauce and like drizzle it all over. And then I would get a large fry with that with a frosted coffee, and these frosted coffees are so good. But yeah, and then this is where it really starts to go downhill. So if you don't already know this, alcohol has a lot of calories. So typically I would have 2, 3, 4 mixed drinks, and I would do some shots before we got in the Uber. And then I would have drinks at the bar. Usually at the bar, I would get like this Pink Whitney like slush thing, and then I would also do like some sort of like vodka soda thing, but like I was easily, with the mixers and alcohol combined, drinking 1,000 calories of alcohol every night that I would go out. And then of course we had to hit the McDonald's on the way home from the bars. And usually I would get like, I don't know if this is exactly what it is, but it was like the 2 for $4 or 2 for $5. And I would get chicken nuggets and then fries, and then I would go to sleep. And then I would do it again for like 4 days in a row.
I've seen a couple other people make this type of video, so I wanted to do my own. Here's what I used to eat in a day when I was overweight, but I was convinced that I was undereating. No, I'm not certified in any way, shape, or form. I have lost 50 pounds naturally. So let's take a ride down memory lane. For coffee, I've always been someone to change up what I get at Starbucks. So for the sake of the video, I went with something that was a little bit in between what I would typically get. I would mix between shaken espressos, cold brews, lattes. So here we just have a vanilla sweet cream cold brew. I did a Trenta, and that one has 220 calories. This used to be the sandwich that I would typically get. It's so fire. It's so good. But 360 calories, no thanks. At one point, I did end up switching and getting a better option at Starbucks for 230 calories. This one is also higher in protein and lower in fat. So that puts breakfast at about 450 calories. But 9 times out of 10, I was getting Starbucks on my way somewhere. So if I felt like I was going to be in the car for a little bit and would need another thing to eat, it would be this. 380 calories. It smacks. It smacks. But that now puts breakfast at 830 calories. And when I say breakfast, I mean this was probably around 1 p.m. And if I didn't get any food with breakfast, I would get a bigger Starbucks drink. Now, most days I would end up at Chipotle like anybody else. And I just went ahead and pretended to put in what I used to get. And here you can see I would get a chicken bowl with double chicken, extra white rice, black beans, cheese, queso blanco, and the hot salsa, as well as a side of chips and guac. Now, without even considering whether or not the Chipotle employee had a heavy hand or not, that puts this entire order at 1770 calories, making my grand total for the day 2,600 calories. This is on a day where I only had 2 meals, and by the end of the day, I was probably saying to myself, oh my God, I'm so hungry, I barely ate today. Now let's say I continued to have something because I felt that way. Now, in most cases, my night would end with Taco Bell. Growing up, throughout college, Taco Bell was just the go-to. And when you look at the things that I would order, it doesn't look like it's a ton. One is just chips and cheese, one is a soft taco. I would always get a quesarito, so on top I put a beefy 5-layer burrito because they don't have quesaritos anymore. But when you add all of these calories together, guess how much it is? 1950 calories just for that Taco Bell order. The Baja Blast alone was 420 calories, bringing our grand total for the day to 4,550 calories. I wondered for years why I was not losing weight. All of this together, I probably had maybe 120 grams of protein in here. Eating calorically dense foods does not have to be a bad thing, but it shouldn't be the only thing. If you're eating this way for most of your week and wondering why you're not losing weight, do this for yourself and see what you find.
Alright, as a lot of you guys know, I used to be a very big boy. I mean, a very big boy. Like, I mean a freaking monster. So I did eat a lot. And why not go through calories that I would usually eat on a one-day basis, because I am curious. Before I get into this, I am very embarrassed already, but let's get into it. Before school, I started off with 5 Santiago's breakfast burritos every morning. Brings us to a whopping 1,980 calories for breakfast. For lunch, we'd be hitting up Taco Bell, having the $5 craving box, and having 3 beefy cheese burritos off the dollar menu, which brings us to a whopping 3,150 calories. For our mid-afternoon snack at school, we'd have 2 bags of these freaking flamin' hot Cheetos. This time, I'm already about 2 liters down of Mountain Dew, which is a whopping 980 calories for this whole thing. For dinner, we go back to Taco Bell, have one of those giant nacho boxes, all my former fat kids know, and 3 more beefy cheese burritos, which brings the calories to a whopping 1,800 calories for dinner. And as a mid-evening snack, we'd have a whole ass bag of hot Cheetos, which is another whopping 400 calories. Oh, and we're not done. We have a whole ass pint of Ben & Jerry's, which is another 1,000 calories before bed. So after all of this, it brings the full day total to 7,680 calories that I was consuming on the normal day-to-day basis as a former fat kid. And let me tell you, this is actually insane. Let me know if you guys want to see any more like this.
Let's talk about a bunch of things that I used to eat all the time when I was 30 pounds heavier that I just don't really eat anymore now that I've lost weight and I'm happy with my body. Disclaimer, I'm not saying that any of these foods are inherently bad. I just have either found really good alternatives for them that I don't need them anymore, I don't crave them anymore, or I just don't incorporate them into my diet frequently because I just don't feel like it fits very well within like my calorie and macro intake. The top leading food is Cheez-Its, y'all. This one is crazy. I used to have multiple, like 7 boxes of different flavors of Cheez-Its in my pantry, and I also would always eat those duo packets with the Parmesan and the cheddar, and they're like 600 calories. Another one is vitamin water. For some reason, vitamin water used to be my favorite drink, and I would drink the ones that were like 150 calories per bottle, thinking that was like a healthy version. I do not remember the last time I had a vitamin water because I just don't waste calories on liquids anymore unless it's like something I actually want. Deep fried sushi. Don't even get me started. That is the only thing that I would eat when I went into a Japanese restaurant. I don't know why I ever did that because I love regular sushi just as much. So now I just eat a California roll or like a smoked salmon roll and I'm just as happy and way healthier. Frozen burger patties, specifically the like veggie burger patties from Morningstar, I think, or like the black bean one. These aren't bad at all, but I ate them all the time and they never satiated me. So I would literally eat that for dinner, eat like 2 of those, and then go and eat a whole nother dinner because I did not get full off them at all. Baked cheddar Lay's. I convinced myself wholeheartedly that like baked chips and like lower calorie kettle corn like Boom Chicka Pop were like the peak epitome of health at a gas station. And I wouldn't just buy like the little bag, I would buy the whole bag and then tell myself I ate 2 servings when I actually ate probably 15. And like those are good, don't get me wrong, but I just don't really see much need for them in my diet. I have other snack foods that I stray toward, but now I just really don't snack much in general. Like I'll have like one yogurt bowl snack throughout the day, but I'm not snacking like 3 or 4 times throughout the day on random stuff like that. Sweet potato fries, and this one hurts. The amount of sweet potato fries I used to eat because I literally thought that they were like the perfect side at a restaurant. Every single restaurant I went to, I would not go if they did not have sweet potato fries, and I would get like 2 sides of them sometimes if they asked like 1 or 2 sides. I walked away so happy thinking that I was just the healthiest little girl for eating literally so many sweet potato fries. Now at restaurants, most of the time I get like veggie sides or like a plain baked potato if I want a carb source. Alcohol is another one, not alcohol in general, but like seltzers would used to be my go-to drink, and they're not a bad option like for weight loss at all, but I just feel like I get so much more like payoff and benefit from drinking like a tequila soda or vodka soda or something like that. So instead of doing like literally seltzers where I would drink like 5 of them in one day, now I just love doing like cocktails and I'll have like 2. And I'll still get fun like 0 calorie mixers in them or lime juice or agave and do like a skinny margarita. I enjoy that more. I drink it slower and it just like is more satisfying to me. Lean cuisine meals are another one, and this is kind of on the same vibe as like the veggie burgers. I would be like trying to lose weight, trying to diet, and I thought that lean cuisines were like the perfect meal because they were only 250, 300 calories. But then a tiny lean cuisine literally has no volume and it literally does not keep you full. I would eat that and then I would be starving 30 minutes later, and then I would eat every snack I had in my kitchen because I didn't have like actual substantial foods to eat for dinner. Not saying that those are bad like calorically or just in a health from a health standpoint, but I think they even contributed more to like my overeating because I would convince myself that that's what I needed to eat to lose weight, and then I couldn't sustain that because I was never full and I was always starving. So yeah, that's that. And I know some people are gonna get mad at me in the comments. All of these foods can be worked into a healthy diet. Like, do not get me wrong, it's just patterns that I noticed in myself that I don't do anymore now that I've lost weight successfully, and can kind of tag things back to why my habits weren't producing weight loss then.
This is everything that I used to order at a Mexican restaurant when I was obese versus what I order now as someone who has done 47 pounds. So to start, what I used to order when I was 217 pounds. So when we had the like appetizers, chips and queso, I would always order, they bring out the chips and salsa. I would always be like, let me get a thing of queso. And I would always get like the large queso. Like I wouldn't just get the regular one. I would get the biggest one, and I would make sure that baby was getting like its full money's worth. It was completely licked clean. And like, yes, other people were like also doing it too, but like I was the main culprit as to why all of this was gone. And then for my main course, I would get cheese quesadillas, and it would be like, the big quesadilla with like guac and sour cream. You may be asking like, why is there so much cheese? I was vegetarian, so that explains why there's no meat and it's like just a fuck ton of cheese. And then as a side, I would get beans and rice, and then for a drink, I would usually get either a margarita pitcher and I would split it with me and my friend, or I would get like one of the big frozen margaritas. So a big thing to note about this is I would finish every single thing that was served to me. So just keep that in mind. And now what I order, I usually either get steak fajitas, chicken fajitas, or I'll get like a steak and guac, California burrito. And a big difference with this is that I don't finish every single thing that is served to me. Like I just eat until I'm full and I call it there. I don't just like finish it because it was served to me. And then I still do snack on like the chips, but I don't like order the queso and everything because I'm low-key lactose intolerant. So I'll snack on the chips and then sometimes I'll put them in the salsa, but like I don't even really care for chips that much. So like this isn't even a huge deal to me. And then I don't drink alcohol anymore, so I just get a Diet Coke.